Thank you for taking the time to review the BUCS 16 release, which is loaded with new features, improvements, and refinements. These changes come from the annual survey and requests submitted throughout the year. Our goal in updating BUCS is to make the system faster, more efficient, and more pleasing to use. We will go over the highlights of the major changes and new features found in BUCS 16. Item number 1, $1 billion enhancement. Amounts in chart of accounts have been changed to now go out to $99 billion. Previously, these amounts only went out to $999 million. In order to report on these large numbers, changes have been made system-wide. Some screens have been redesigned and some reports have been redesigned, and there are new report options for others. Some of the bigger changes will be referenced throughout this video. Item number 2, chart of accounts. There have been numerous changes to the chart of accounts, and they are as follows. There is a new advanced search feature in chart of accounts, and the search option for chart of accounts within the various programs that you search for account numbers. You access the advanced search feature by selecting the advanced search item in the sequence drop list. So if we go to chart of accounts, we go to sequence, we go to the drop list, here's the advanced search option. The advanced search feature allows you to specify what you want to search for, and you have the ability to search which fields the account should be searched, and you have the ability to specify which types of accounts should be included in the search. There's also a match case feature, so it has to match exactly the way you're typing the word or numbers in. So for example, if I type in the word office and key in OFFICE and then hit search now, I'm going to see things with office supplies and office equipment. If I want to change that search to supplies, I'm seeing all accounts that have computer supplies, office supplies, supplies, and indirect supplies. You can use this feature here where you say select none, and then you're just searching for the account number and description for the search fields. So if I wanted to search for 4100, I'm going to see all items that have 4100 in the account number. Okay, so I'm seeing 4100 in all these accounts, and then I can click on print search results and then hit preview so I can get a printout of this if I want to, or just have a nice little list on the screen. I'm also able to hit save as PDF and then save that to a PDF file. Once you have these items on the screen, you're able to view or edit the items, and when you click on view, you're able to traverse forward or backwards by hitting the next button and the previous button, and it's just bringing up the account numbers that are in that search grid. Also, there's preferences for the advanced search, and to program that in, you'd close out of here and you'd go to preferences, go to chart of accounts, go down here where it says advanced search preferences, and I would say over 95% of the time you're really just searching for the account number or description, so you could say select none and then just have the account and description checked as a default. If you need to change it later, you can feel free to change it. And then just hit close and then hit OK. And then when I go back into chart of accounts, go to advanced search, you're going to see the account descriptions are already checked for you. On the chart of accounts menu screen, there is a new validate accounts funds button. When this button is pressed, the program will scan through all the accounts in the system and verify that there is a fund in the system. If there are any funds that are missing, the program will display a screen listing all the missing funds. This feature is useful for users who frequently import accounts and then forget to add the fund control file. So if I click this button, I get a message that says the fund validation has passed, all accounts are assigned to a valid fund. So all my accounts are fine and I'm ready to do whatever else I need to do. The uncommitted column in the chart of accounts search grids has been renamed to uncollected, uncommitted. This field will now show the uncollected amounts for revenue accounts and the uncommitted amounts for expense accounts. So that column is right here and you can see it's been renamed. When changing the status of an account to inactive or deleting an account, the system will now check all the standard postings along with other locations to verify that the account is not used in other locations before allowing the process to continue. If there are any conflicts, the program will list all of the conflicts that exist so the user can easily see what needs to be changed before the account status can be changed or the account can be deleted. An example of this, if I try to delete the SUI tax expense, you click on delete individually, then delete again. It'll come up and say, warning, the account cannot be deleted due to the following conflicts. It's actually in standard posting payroll. So until I remove it from that payroll standard template that I got for journal entries, I cannot delete this account. So that's the new validation measures we're putting in. A program number range option has been added to the Postings and Future Postings tab. So if we click on View on Office Supplies and go to the Postings tab, here's where the program number range has been added. So if we want to search for items that were paid through, like invoice entry, we can click here and pick invoice update, the invoice update, which is A20280, hit refresh postings, and you're going to see the items that were paid with a check or electronic payment, such as macro supplies and Opus supplies. Now if you want to see items that hit the postings via journal entry activity, we can click on A11100 to that number again, hit refresh postings, and then we're seeing the activity that way, and that's all the journal entries. We added a new delete selectively option, which is right here, delete selectively. Once you choose that, it lets you choose the account number range that you're interested in getting rid of. It lets you choose the status of active or inactive. And then you get to choose the account types of revenue, expense, asset, or liabilities. And then it also lets you put in a date range of when you might have last posted to it. If you just leave it all open, it's going to give you a list of all accounts that you're able to delete that had no activity for the last 2 years. So if I click on this, it's going to give me a nice little list of everything I can delete. If I want to delete it all now, I can hit select all and everything gets checked. Then I can click OK. If I want to select them individually, because I might use some of these accounts later, I can click on select none, and then I can just go click on the ones that I want to get rid of individually. And you're able to click on it, or you can use the down arrow and then hit the space bar to put the little check marks in there. So, and then when you're finished with everything, you get to the very bottom, you just click on OK, and it'll delete those accounts and present the chart of accounts screen back the way it was. There's a new bulk inactivation button added to the chart of accounts. That gives you the ability to make the accounts go from an active status to inactive. Once you click on that button, you got a selection for your account number ranges, your account types, and your last posting date range. In my example, I'll just leave it all open, and it'll only present me with accounts that haven't been used in a couple of years. And if I don't want to have these active anymore, I can click on this one, and this one, and it'll make these accounts go from active to inactive. A new chart of accounts import has been added for users who have the Indiana Gateway module. For these users, when the import option is selected, a new chart of accounts plus gateway item is in the list of available imports. The import has the same items as the normal chart of accounts import, but also includes all the gateway specific fields. So if we click on File, Import, you're going to see the new option here of chart of accounts plus gateway, and that's actually going to be able to pull from a spreadsheet like this one that has the normal features that you're used to: the account type, the budget account number, the description, the GAFR number, and any comment. But then here's your Indiana Gateway expense department codes all the way through the expense Indiana Gateway published amount. So these new cells will be able to be imported into the chart of accounts itself. The listing reports for assets, revenues, expenses, and liabilities have been redesigned to make room for the larger amounts. The programs have also been changed to no longer do a page break in the middle of an account. If the entire account will not fit, a page break will occur before printing the account. The amounts have also been changed to be formatted with commas. So in the chart of accounts program, we're talking about these options under the print, where it's revenue listing, expense listing, asset listing, and liability listing. Under the revenue listing, I'm going to click on OK and preview. And this is what's talking about the dollar amounts, like $31,640 now has commas in it. I did some journal entries to the system to push it into the billions. So now you can see it's a lot easier to read this big number. So that's $10,800,002,200. So basically we prettied up the reports a little bit, made it easier to read with the formatting, with the commas and everything. In some of the cases we had to add an extra row to the report, but by doing so then we had the extra room to put the commas in there. So that's basically what we did with the chart of accounts. Item number 3, batch posting. There have been extensive changes to the error checking in the batch posting program. Now when a user enters batch posting, as the grid is loaded, the program will check current period transactions for errors. If there are any errors, an icon will display in the grid at the beginning of the account number row. So on this grid, there's no errors on the screen for the current period transactions of August 2019 because that's the security month and year I'm in. However, we see future transactions for 09-2019. So if I click on this button right here, check future postings, we now see the X marks in front of everything, or in front of these last two accounts, and then down here, here's that indicator I was mentioning. Records that have errors will not post. Run check for errors for more information. So if I click check for errors, then click on preview, it's shown me that 013999.99 is an invalid account number and the transaction type is invalid. And the other account number 01.1999 is also an invalid account number. So I'm going to close out of here. And if I only want to see the errors on the screen, I can click on this button and it'll show me just the errors that are on the screen. Or I mean just the errors that were in the file. So when we reset to the next period and we post, those two transactions will not post. So these two transactions will not post. They'll just be skipped because the chart of accounts don't exist in the BUCS system. Item number 4, posting analysis view. The posting analysis screen has been changed to show more records in the grid, and the buttons have been moved to the bottom of the screen. So if I go to General Ledger, Posting Analysis View, click OK, this grid now contains up to 29 lines, and the previous version only showed 14 lines. And the buttons used to be up here in the right hand corner. They all got moved down here to the bottom left hand corner and to the bottom right hand corner. Item number 5, posting journal print. The amount fields have been changed to be formatted with commas. The total lines for expense, liability, and asset accounts have also been changed to print on 2 lines in order to support the billions dollar amounts. So we go to posting analysis print to show you this. I'm going to preview it to the screen. So the dollar amounts now have commas, so that's 27,000, 25,000, and when we're talking about the total lines, we're talking about the totals. Here's your debits, that's line 1 where you got your debits, debit reversals. Then line 2 is credits and the credit reversals and the net amount, so that's for the cash account. We did the same things for the liabilities and the expense accounts. So they all now have 2 lines for the totals, but that's to give us the ability to show amounts into the billions of dollars. Item number 6, journal entry history. A reference range has been added to the top of the journal entry history screen. So it's located here, general ledger, posting, analysis, journal entry history. And we're talking about these 2 fields here, reference range starting and ending. So if you wanted to see journal entry number 3 to 3, I can say asterisk 3 to asterisk 3, and the grid refreshes and shows me just that particular journal entry. I can double click on it and see the items, tax revenue distribution, debit to cash and a credit to revenue for $900 million. Pretty good take for the month. Hit cancel. If I want to reopen this back up and see all the journal entry numbers, I can make it go from blank by hitting the backspace key, hit the tab key, and I'm going to do this on purpose. I'm going to make it blank, and when I hit the enter key, you're seeing all journal entries that did not have a reference number. So that's blank to blank, and anything that did not have a reference number, it's going to bring it into the screen as far as journal entries are concerned. If you want to see these along with journal entries that do have a number associated to it, simply add these to this, then hit the enter key, and it's going to go ahead and show you all the other journal entries. So usually throughout our system, if you just leave it from blank to blank, we put the Z's in for you. We didn't do that on purpose, so that way you can see the journal entries that do not have any numbers associated, because some are going to have some numbers and some won't. So that's the reason for that being made that way. Item number 7, run totals. In order to support billions, the run totals needed to be changed to a 2-line report for each transaction type. The counts for each posting type have been moved to a 2nd line for all transaction types. The run totals have been changed to always print this way for all users. So here's our posting journal print with the summary totals, and it's showing you that for the month of August there was 10,800,637,468.50 posted to the revenue account. And what we're talking about is the 2nd line is showing 56 transactions that make up that number. Then over here, as far as the debit to the asset account, there's your 10,800,000,000, and 67 transactions make up that number. So basically for all of our accounts, you're going to see your totals like you always have, but instead of that being to the left, it's now underneath as far as the counts. So, and then down here, here's your proof totals, showing your debits and credits, and then your debit reversal and credit reversal with the number of transactions underneath each of those totals. Item number 8, report parameters. A new billions applicable option has been added to report parameters. When the billions applicable option is selected, when the report parameter is being executed, the report may be processed differently to support amounts up to $99 billion and negative $99 billion. GASB 34 type reports cannot be marked as billions applicable. The new billions applicable field is on the report when printing the list of parameters. So I'm going to go to General Ledger, Report Parameters. I'm going to bring up one of my expense reports here and load it. And here's that new field, billions applicable. Okay, so if you check that, then that means when you run an expense report, it will be able to show you up to $99 billion in those fields now. So I'm going to click on cancel, and on the next one I actually did put that check mark on there. Okay. And the second option I was talking about was when you click on print and you do list parameters, it's going to be able to show you that new field in the listing. So here's one report that doesn't have that, and here's the other report that does have that. And click OK and preview. So here's your listing of the report of expense 0105. Billions field says no, you can't do that. But if we click on next, then next, the report ID of expense 01-05-billions, the billions does have yes in it, so it can show you numbers up to $99 billion. Item number 9. The revenue and expense reports have been changed so that while it is processing the report parameters, it will check if the parameter is billions applicable, and if it is, then it will print the print lines that support amounts up to a positive or negative $99 billion. If the parameter is not billions applicable, it will print the normal print lines that it always has used. The new print lines that support billions have 4 columns of amount fields instead of 6 columns that the normal non-billions print lines have. This means there are 3 heading and detail lines possible for each detail/total parameter that prints on the report. Basically, amount columns 1 through 4 will print on the first detail line, columns 5 through 8 will print on the second detail line, and columns 9 through 12 will print on the third detail line. So let me show you what that actually means. So if I go to the expense report and I do search, and on that one that I saved to be billions applicable is this parameter here, expense 01-05-billions. When I click OK, then preview that, what you're now seeing is three rows of information. So you got your appropriation at the top, then revisions, period expense, previous year period. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then column 5 is your encumbered amount, then uncommitted, transfers, and revised appropriation. Then columns 9, 10, 11, and 12 is going to be your year-to-date expense, previous year, year-to-date, percent expended year-to-date, and unexpended. So basically we took a 2-column report to a 3-column to accommodate those extra numbers. And everybody else, they're going to be able to run the reports as normal, and they won't even see a difference. So this one is not billions applicable, and you'll see it's the normal 2-column report. To go a step farther, I want to show you the revenue report that's capable of doing the billions. And if we preview that report, you're going to see the period revenue is $10,800,002,200. So you can see it's displaying these extra numbers that it was never capable of doing before. It would have been truncated to $800,002,200, so that 10 would have been missing. Down here, the year-to-date revenue is showing the $10 billion, and then the uncollected is showing you the negative $10 billion, because the estimated revenue was only 31,000. So I was basically just trying to show you the system's capable of going up to $99 billion now, positive or negative. Item number 10. The balance sheet has been changed so that it's capable of doing or showing the $99 billion also. When we turn on the billions applicable for that, it's going to eliminate the month-to-date change and the year-to-date change columns on the right side of the report. So to show you that, we go into balance sheet, and here's a normal balance sheet. I'm going to click OK and preview, and you're going to see this month-to-date change and year-to-date change columns, okay? And then right here I'm only seeing $800 million as far as the assets. Alright, so when I close out of here and turn on the billions applicable with a different report parameter, so I did that as billions and I hit OK, then preview, that month to date and year to date change columns are now gone, so it gave us more room to print the bigger fields, and now you're seeing the total assets at the $10 billion mark that I have in the system. And so the assets equal the liabilities and fund balance at the bottom, 10 billion, 800 million, 883, 420, 87. So we just gave ourselves the extra width that we needed to keep it on a clean one-page report on many cases. Item number 11. The profit loss report, when including budget figures, the revised budget column heading has been changed to revised, and the uncommitted budget column heading has been changed to uncollected uncommitted. So I'm going to run this profit and loss report using the billions applicable, hit OK, and preview. So you see the column has been changed to revised, and then this one's uncollected uncommitted. Now when the parameter is billions applicable, if budget figures are not included on the report, the percent of revenue for each amount field will appear on a line below its associated amount. If budget figures are included on the report, the month-to-date current year and the year-to-date current year will appear on the line below the monthly and year-to-date last year numbers. And so there's those columns right there. And you can see the $10 billion is in there, so, and the negatives over here of $10 billion, so it's definitely showing that you can handle up to $99 billion. Item number 12. The trial balance has been changed so that it also supports up to $99 billion. If you are using a report parameter that is supporting the $1 billion, we remove the adjustments column. So to show you this, here's a normal trial balance, and here's your adjustment columns with these little dashes going through. So if I do it with the billions on, then that removes the adjustment column, but it gave us the extra width that we needed for the $10 billion, or going all the way up to $99 billion. Close out of here, and if I include the posting journal, the posting journal was changed for your period totals and account totals to always be capable of handling the $1 billion, whether it's billions applicable or not. Item number 13. On the future period trial balance, a new option, include month-to-date posting journal on the report, has been added to the future trial balance program. So if I go here, future period trial balance, generate the database for September, and then run the trial balance. This new option is available, include month-to-date posting journal on the report, and as a result of that you can include budget transactions, print detailed description, and print journal entry notes. And that's showing you the posting activity on the account. Item number 14. In budget planning, the print expense plan and revenue plan, when the parameter is billions applicable, and when printing an annual budget, the account number has been moved to the second line to allow for the billions amounts. So to show you this, I'm going to go to General Ledger, Budget Planning, Print Expense Plan, and I'm going to do a regular one first. Hit OK, Preview, and you can see the account number and the description side by side, followed by the 5 columns. When I close out of here, go to General Ledger, Budget Planning, Print Expense Plan, search for the billions, click OK, Preview. The account number is now underneath the description, followed by the 5 columns. So that's the difference. Item number 15, period closing. During the updating of future invoices, the processing window has been changed so that it now shows the invoice number it is processing. An example of that's here on the screen, and it's going to show the processing invoice numbers like 698211/2, and that number will keep on rolling and changing as it's processing the different future invoices. Before, that screen could stay there 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes sometimes. I've seen some people stay as long as 10 minutes because they had so much stuff into the future. But it never showed any activity, so you thought it wasn't responding, so you would end the task. This way it's showing it's doing some work, and that way you let it continue doing what it needs to do. Item number 16, the year-end reset, where the fiscal year-end reset has a new process added that will check to see if there are any encumbrances that will be carried over to the new year. If there are any encumbrances, the program will list all of the encumbrances and give the user the option to continue or to cancel the reset. We are showing you these encumbrances as these are purchase orders that are adjusted off the books and then reestablished in the new year. As a result of that, we rebudget for this as it's coded as carryover transfers. Some people have already budgeted for encumbrances purchase orders that are being carried forward, so they don't want us to increase the budget to pay for these items. If that is true for you, then you need to delete the outstanding encumbrances. Once you get into the new year, you can then re-enter your encumbrances you just deleted. So, General Ledger, year-end reset, fiscal reset carryover encumbrance validation. These are encumbrances that will be carried over to the new fiscal year. Do you want to continue with the reset? Normally, most of us would say yes and continue on. Some people want to say no to this, and then they want to delete the encumbrances first, and then they want to go ahead and reset to the new year. So again, that's up to you, but this is the new feature that we added to the system. Item number 17, projects. A program number range option has been added to the postings tab. There is also a search option for the program ranges. So if we go to General Ledger, Projects, and I'm going to view this project, go to the postings tab. This has been added right here, the program number range. So if I just want to see the transactions that were processed through invoice entry, I can do a search. Go to invoice maintenance and the ending search. Go through invoice monthly adjustments, hit OK, hit refresh postings, and you see the 2 transactions. Actually, it's 1 transaction of the $25,000 that got posted through invoice entry. Then if I want to see anything through journal entry, I can do the journal entry program through the auto reverse journal entry program, which is A11150. Hit OK, refresh postings, and that changed to the 27,000. So that electronic payment was processed through journal entry. Item number 18, vendors. A program number range option has been added to the postings tab. There is also a search option for the program ranges. So we'll go to payables, vendor maintenance, view ACE hardware, go into the Postings tab, which is right there. And this is showing you all the encumbrance activity and all the activity through invoice entry. If you just want to see the encumbrances, here's where the program number range is. So for example, we can do a search and look at encumbrance maintenance, to encumbrance maintenance, hit OK, then refresh the postings. Then you see the original encumbrance for $1,400. If you want to see things that were processed through invoice monthly adjustments or invoice maintenance, go to A20200, through invoice monthly adjustments, which is A20290, hit OK, refresh postings, and there's all the transactions that got processed through invoice maintenance, and either a check run was done or an electronic payment was done. Item number 19, encumbrance purchase orders. A new option has been added to system controls for having the system generate the purchase order number. The checkbox, only generate PO number on update, is on the AP tab in System Controls. When this checkbox is checked, the purchase order number field in encumbrance and purchase orders will be disabled, and the purchase order number will get generated once the OK button is pressed. This will help keep purchase order numbers from getting skipped or entered out of order. So to enable this, you're going to go to General Ledger, System Controls, Edit, click on the AP button, go down here where it says only generate PO number on update, click on that, and then click OK. And this doesn't have the Crystal Reports directory. I don't have to fill that in, so I'm going to say no. I'm going to cancel here, and if I go to encumbrance maintenance to show you how this works, you go to encumbrance maintenance, click on add, and see the PO numbers grayed out now. So it will generate after we update it. So like Ace Hardware, I want to buy a hammer and nails. Due date I'm going to say is around 9/30, and we'll just say $15. Make it go into repairs and maintenance, hit OK, then complete that, hit OK, and you can see it generated purchase order number 10, and it brought that forward to here, purchase order number 10, and I can just enter through this and have this update. Complete that, hit OK, cancel, and it generated purchase order number 10. Item number 20, encumbrance report. New options of only include encumbrances that exceed appropriations and only include encumbrance with vendor limit exceeded have been added to the encumbrance report options screen. So if we go to encumbrance maintenance, which we're already in, we're going to click on print encumbrance report. This option down here, only include encumbrances that exceed the appropriations, will show all encumbrances that have a line item that actually went over budget. So purchase order number 4, account number 0142100602 exceeded the budget by $76.95, and purchase order number 9, this account number 0141000402 office supplies exceeded the budget by $1,040. So by showing this type of report, if you're doing the end of the month reports, if you need to reappropriate things and do in-department transfers, you can do so and then rerun the reports and they would be clean. If we close out of here and we click on print encumbrance report, the other option is only include encumbrances with vendor limit exceeded. Hit OK, then preview. This one is showing purchase order number 9. The vendor limit was exceeded by $250. So in that case, if you wanted to cancel that purchase order and go with somebody else, you could do so, or this is really just considered a warning for most people. Item 21, archived encumbrances. There is now the ability to delete a range of archived encumbrances. So that is under payables, encumbrance processing, archived encumbrances. If you pick the delete button, there's now the option where there's a range, so it's individually and range. And under the range option, you can do it by vendor number range, a purchase order number range, and then it asks the question, do you want to delete the associated archived purchase order document with this? So if I wanted to delete all of them, I can just click on delete, and I'll say, are you sure you want to delete all the archived encumbrances? Say yes, and then the whole grid's completely empty. So it deleted all of them. So again, it's a pretty powerful one. You want to make sure if you're going back 8 years or something like that, when you click on delete and you delete your purchase order numbers, make sure you got the exact range that you want to delete. If you accidentally leave it open and delete them all, they're gone. So my recommendation is to do a backup before you do a massive delete like I just did. That way you can restore if you needed to. Item number 22, purchase order email. When performing the select accounts receiving notifications, the program has been changed so that the grid columns are now adjustable. That's under payables, purchase orders, form email. And after you answer these questions and you click OK, these are the grid columns that we're talking about. See how the vendor name's cut off? So if you want to resize this a little bit, our vendor numbers are not that big, so that way we can fit the vendor names on here. If you want to resize this and bring this down, you can. Purchase order dates, bring that down like that. If you don't care about the dates, you can slide that and get the total amount in there if you want to. So now I got it all fitting on the grid. So basically we're just saying that we gave you the ability to resize this. Item number 23, accounts payable ACH email. When setting up the ACH email information, there is now the ability to include the vendor name in the email. To do this, you're going to go to General Ledger, System Controls, Edit, click on the AP tab, go down here to the bottom right hand corner, click on AP ACH email information, and there's a checkbox here for vendor name in this area of invoice information to include in message detail. So just put a checkbox there, click on back, click OK. No, you don't need to change the Crystal Reports directory, and cancel. So now the vendor name will be included in the emails. Item number 24, paid invoice view. 3 new options have been added to the paid invoice view option screen to assist in locating specific paid invoices. These new fields are invoice description contains, detailed description contains, and account number contains. When information is entered into any of these fields, the program will check that specific field and see if the entered text is anywhere in the field. So if we go to payables, paid invoices, view, those 3 fields are down here. So if I want to search for the word supplies in any of my invoices, it looks like I got a spelling mistake there. Okay, so I got supplies, hit OK. Then this is going to bring up all the invoices that have the word supplies in it. If you want to click on any one of these and click on view paid invoice, it'll show you the actual paid invoice detail. Once you're in here, if you want to go to the next invoice, you can click on next, and you can traverse backwards also by clicking on previous and basically see everything that was in that grid from top to bottom. So cancel out of here. I'm going to click on close. Then I'll show you the next one. Detailed description contains. This is on the account number where you put a detailed description on there. So sometimes you have a dental refund or something like that and you put the employee's name in there. So we're going to type in Emmerich, click OK, and it did find one invoice and it says refund dental. View paid invoice, and here's the account number 012304 dental insurance payable, detailed description Mike Emmerich, refund dental. And the third and final option that was added is account number contains. So I'm going to key in 014200 and then click OK. Then this is going to show me all accounts that have 014200 in them. And again, you can double click on it or click view and see this has 014200 in the invoice. Click on next. That one has 014200 in it also. So it's going to just search for all the invoices within the range that you gave it for that account number range. So these three options should be very, very helpful in helping you find the invoices that you're looking for. Item number 25, check reconciliation. For users that print the check reconciliation transaction log, the log will now print for a partially cleared deposit. If you want to turn on that log, you go to General Ledger, System Controls, Edit, go to the Accounts Payable tab, click on Check Reconciliation Transaction Log, click OK. No, I don't need to save the crystal report path. Cancel out. And let me show this to you. So if we go to Check Reconciliation, let's look at our deposits. Let's clear 350 of the 700. So change that to 831. Clear partial deposit. So I'm going to change this to 350. Change this to 350 with the remaining of 350 now. And then I have to assign a new deposit number for the outstanding amount. So I click on that. New deposit amount be 19. Click OK. And it printed out a transaction log where $350 is cleared. Item number 26, Fee Receipts Journal. There is now the ability to set up preferences for the Fee Receipts Journal. To do this, you're going to go into Preferences, go down here toward the bottom in Receivables, and go to Fee Receipts, then pick Fee Receipts Journal. And the options that most people wanted to be able to turn on and keep on is the client information, additional fields, and account detail. Because they need to see the account numbers that were receiving the money for the auditors and everything, and they were clicking it each and every time. And sometimes they'd forget to click on this. So get it the way that you like it, check these as you need to, click OK, and it'll save it. So then when you do go to the Fee Receipts Journal, those options will already be selected for you. Item number 27, AR Customers. When accessing an AR customer, if the customer has a positive balance, a Show Unpaid Invoices button will be enabled next to the Charges field. When the button is pressed, a window will pop up under the Charges field listing all the invoices that have a billed status. And on this screen there is a View button that can be pressed, or a grid item double clicked and the bill will be displayed. So if I go to Receivables, go here to AR Customer Maintenance, and this one is 150 and this one is 100. So if we click on 151, click on View, here's the new button right there. It says show unpaid invoices. Click on that, and here's the view button that we're talking about. So you can click on this invoice, click on view, and it'll show you the actual bill. Item 28, AR billing. The AR billing program has been changed so that inactive customers can no longer be billed. When a bill is attempted to be added for an inactive customer, a message box will display informing the user that a bill cannot be added for a customer. When a batch is loaded, if a customer in the batch is inactive, the customer will not have a bill loaded. When adding a batch or recurring invoice, the program will warn the user that the customer status is not active. So if I go to AR billing and I click on add and hit F5 to automatically assign the invoice number, then I'm going to use customer number 1 because it's inactive, and it shows you a bill cannot be created for this customer because they are not active. So it's basically telling you anybody that's inactive, you cannot bill them. You need to change the status to active if you are wanting to bill them. But basically we're trying to catch your mistakes and not let you bill people that are not supposed to be billed anymore. Item 29, AR invoice email. When performing the select accounts receiving notifications, the program has been changed so the grid columns are now adjustable. So that's in receivables, invoice email. Click OK. These grid columns are now adjustable. So as long as you put your cursor on the red bar, you're going to be able to move it left or right as you need to get more information on the screen, like that. So it's up to you on how you want to set up your screen, but those are now adjustable. Item number 30, fixed assets. The asset life months and life used months field has increased from 3 digits to 4 digits. So if I go in here into asset file maintenance, do an edit, we're talking about this field here and this field here. It used to only hold up to 999 months. Now it's going to go to 9,999 months. So move this field here. Basically with 999 months, you only have the ability to depreciate for 83.25 years. Some of the infrastructure for water and sewer facilities needed 100 to 150 years of depreciation. So that's been increased to a 4-digit field. And basically with that capability, you can depreciate up to 833 years if needed. The other item that we added, if you click on add and put an ID number in here, we added retain asset information. This is going to be awesome for people that are adding like 20 Dell computers. Everything's going to stay exactly the same except for your ID number and your serial number, for example. So all that information will be retained. The only thing that we're not going to retain is the notes. Item 31, graphing. The graphs throughout the system have been changed so that if any of the amounts are over 999 million or negative 999 million, the amounts will be divided by 10 or 100 or 1000 so they can appear on the graph, and a footnote will be added to the graph that says graph dollars times 10 times 100 or times 1000 will be shown on the graph, so that the user knows they need to multiply the amounts in the graph by 10, 100, 1000 to get the actual amounts. To show you an example of that, I do have an account balance of $10 billion in one of the asset accounts. So I'm going to go to chart of accounts, general fund cash. The balance is $10,800,000,000. So I'm going to click on view and we'll go right to the current graph. And you can see in August we got that kind of money, and that says 108 million, and down here it says graph dollars times 100. So when you multiply that by 100, you'll get your $10 billion. So that's an example of what we're talking about here. Item 32, system. Menu and search grids have been changed throughout the system to now have an additional 5 rows of results in the grid. This will allow for more items to be seen on the screen at one time. An example of that is invoice maintenance. So if you go to payables, invoice maintenance, we are now showing an extra 5 lines of information. So it used to only show 14 invoices, now it's showing 19. Another example of that is if I go to fixed assets, go to asset master file maintenance. This used to show 14, now it's showing 19 fixed assets on this grid. Item 33, report date or subtitle. The report date or subtitle field has been added to the option screen for the archived encumbrance report, archived encumbrance liquidation report, standard encumbrance report, invoice report, standard invoice report, and credit card transaction report. So we're talking about invoice maintenance, print, invoice report. This down here, this field, report date or subtitle, something like printed on 9/23/2019, and that will be part of your title. So you got FREY Company Demo, Invoice Report, and here's what I put in there. Printed on 9/23/2019. So you're able to put in anything that you want there as a part of your title. Item number 34, Notes. The way that follow-ups work has been changed throughout the system. Now when a note is added to the system, a follow-up user is now specified for the note. This user is defaulted to the same name as the author, but it's also able to be changed. This gives the user the ability to add a note and assign follow-up responsibilities to another user. There is also a user login search next to the follow-up user field. The follow-up alerts program has been changed to now use this new field instead of using the author field. The follow-up user has also been added to the note grids. The notes report also have a few follow-up user range. During the 16.0 conversion, the author fields will be converted into the follow-up user field. This applies to vendor, AR customers, fixed assets, chart of accounts, investment, project, and fee receipt client notes. To show this, I'm going to go into vendor maintenance, pick American Dental Insurance, click on edit, go into notes. I'm going to add a note and see here's where the follow-up user says BUCS and the author is BUCS. So if I want to change that to Mike to follow up on this and have them look at it by the 30th, and then just put in something like please call and get federal ID number. So when Mike logs in on Monday on 9/30, he'll see that note. So it's basically just giving you the ability to type in a note but ask somebody to follow up on it. Item number 35, follow-up alerts. When a note is selected in follow-up alerts, there is now the ability to view or edit the item that the note is associated with, depending on the user's permissions to the maintenance program. So I'm going to go log in as Mike, click OK, cancel out of this, and here's our follow-up alert screen. I did change the date so it would pop up today as far as the follow-up date, but now we're giving you the ability to view that note and edit the note if you need to. So if I click on edit, I can go in and change it to follow-up completed, and I can key in the federal ID number. Something like that. Fix my spacing here, and then click OK. And then close out of the screen. But basically we're giving you access to do all that on the main screen instead of having to look at your note, cancel out, and go into vendor maintenance or go into follow-up alerts and make those changes as needed. Item number 36, Indiana Gateway. New maintenance programs have been created for the annual report disbursement codes, annual report receipt codes, budget expenditure codes, and budget revenue codes. These new maintenance programs are located off the Indiana Gateway menu and these programs will allow you to add or edit as needed. So if we go to General Ledger, Indiana Gateway, to Budgets, the new programs are Revenue Codes and Expenditure Codes, and under the Annual Report, Receipt Codes and Disbursement Codes. And that gives you an idea of all the codes that are in there, and you can add or edit as you need to. Item number 37, Custom Programs. A new Custom Programs feature has been added to the system. The new program allows the user to store a list of custom programs they have received along with the ability to execute the custom programs. This new option is located off the General Menu item below Custom Crystal Reports. There is the ability to enter in a description of what the custom program is along with the program or executable. There is the ability to set up security for this new feature along with favorites. Any programs that are entered will execute with the wrun32-c BA config command. So just to show you, I'm going to go to General Ledger, Custom Programs down here, click on Add. My description will be increase control number, and the program number is A00250PG, and click OK. Cancel out of there, and that's what you'll have on your screen as an example of a custom program. And if I needed to run that, I can click on Execute, and it shows me my next control number is 140. If for some reason I got a duplicate key or something like that, I might need to increase it to 150 or even 200. I could do 200, hit OK, OK, and it's done, and then close out of here. But some of our customers have custom programs. Instead of having to go to the run prompt and type it all in, we'll let you put it in there and you can execute it on the fly. Item number 38, Backup and Restore. The windows for the backup and restore have been widened to allow for the path field to be made longer. This will allow for more of the path to be visible when selecting where to back up to or to restore from. To show you this, I'm going to go to File, Utilities, Backup, and you can see this screen is a lot wider than it used to be. This will actually take up to 90 characters, so all 90 characters would be visible, and the restore window is basically exactly the same way. This concludes the BUCS 16 release. We look forward to your hot ideas and any suggestions you have to improve BUCS for next year's update. If you should have any questions on anything that was covered in this video, please contact support via email or phone. Thank you.